What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Teofimo Lopez, Rolando Romero, and Gervonta Tank Davis. Get this. Teofimo Lopez Jr. believes that Romero can upset the odds with a win over Davis. Former lightweight title holder Teofimo Lopez caught up with Fight Hype and shared some quick thoughts on his upcoming fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Rolando Rolly Romero. And while the betting odds are clearly in favor of Tank, Lopez says he believes Rolly has the attributes to pull off the win. Lopez on who he's got in the Tank Rolly fight. And this is what he said. He said, "I've got the fight fans, of course, and I'm going to go for Rolly. He works hard. He has enough to beat Tank. I mean, Rolly's right about one thing. They've been putting Tank with guys they know that's not going to give him that up-notch competition. Right now, Rolly's the one giving him the up-notch competition because of the power, because of the match, and because he's fighting a real 135-pounder. And Rolly's awkward, and it's hard to fight an awkward fighter. I don't care how stylistic you are. I know these guys are training their asses off. They're going to put up a hell of a performance. I know Rolly is. I know Tank is. Tank is Tank, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm happy to see boxing how it is right now." Okay, those are the words of Teofimo Lopez Jr. We have to specify Jr. Let me counterpunch. Strangely enough, I was getting my hair cut, and I noticed that a friend of mine, shout out to John 5, he was really like, "Man, do you think Tank can really beat Rolly?" And I was like, "Well, I think so." And Rolly Romero had to grow on me. And when people mention Rolly, I would get mad because, I mean, he knows how to sell himself, but he does it in the worst way, to the point it's like it's not tasteful. But hey, nonetheless, he sells himself, right? Okay, fair enough. But I did see him spar Ryan Garcia, and normally how Ryan gets off, he had spots with Rolly, but Rolly also had spots with him. And I could see how Rolly can be successful. He can be effective. He is a hard-hitting guy. He is awkward. That's one thing he does have. And he reminds me like of a mix between like Robert Guerrero, the Ghost, and Ricardo Mayorga. Okay? And the strange thing about those two guys, especially if they're mashed up, they can be effective just by fighting in this type of awkward sequence, to the point it's hard to counter. You can't go in and out and slip around. You have to dip and avoid those punches, because Rolly will be throwing those punches. Not saying that Tank can't do it, but Tank is the smaller guy. But one thing that I think he would give Tank is the distance. Tank I think he will be able to work Rolly on the inside. But if Rolly's throwing these awkward, wild punches from different angles, it might be a problem for Gervonta Tank Davis. And this is what I will say. If he has any intention on leaving Mayweather unscathed, he better knock out Rolly. He has to. Because if not, if it's close, it's going to be a rematch, or they're going to pay Gervonta Tank Davis enough to rematch Rolly Romero, and then that will be a saga all by itself. And by that time, you won't see fights like Ryan Garcia. You won't see fights like Teofimo Lopez at 140. You won't see these type of fights, because Floyd will find a way to keep Gervonta Tank Davis in-house. Okay? Now, the thing is, we know Gervonta Tank Davis is tough. We know he's skilled. We know he's talented. But, it does deem to be somewhat of a challenge. Okay? And I wouldn't think this if I wouldn't have saw that footage of him fighting Ryan, and Ryan looked like he was bothered by these punches. I mean, he blocked most of them, but a lot of those punches punched through the guard. And understand, people, when you block a punch, that's the last option for defense. Okay? Move, slip, duck, parry, okay? Dodge. Those are the best ways, or the better ways, or the most preferred ways of defense, not blocking. And Ryan was blocking these shots, okay? So anytime when you're blocking anything, you're absorbing something, okay? So keep that in mind, coming from a guy that does throw harder, awkward shots like Rolly Romero. So back to Teofimo, he might have a point, but understand this, there is bias in it because that's his friend. So go figure, you know what I mean? So you also put that and keep that in mind. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Teofimo Lopez Jr. Picking Rolly Romero to upset Gervonta Tank Davis. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.